On November 11, 2015, Clu Haywood tweeted, "From our Vietnam trip. Our guide popped out of a VC tunnel to jokingly scare the vets. Dad yelled at him for 10 minutes, along with this photo." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show where we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. Look, this is just one of the funniest photos and captions ever put on Twitter. A picture may say 1,000 words, but this picture, along with the caption that Clu Haywood provided, say like 10,000 words. There's just such a rich text being told here. So clearly what happened is that Clu Haywood, along with his dad and probably some other Vietnam vets, were on a tour in Vietnam, and this tour guide went down into one of the Viet Cong tunnels and popped out to scare them. And this got Clu's dad very mad, as the dad yelled at the tour guide for 10 minutes. And although the photo's a little blurry, you can see the face of the tour guide, and he looks like he's getting yelled at. I think it is kind of funny that Clu shared this, especially sharing the detail that his dad yelled at him, because I don't know if that makes his dad look super great. Although now that I think about it, his username is Clu Haywood, which is of course the name of the slugger on the Yankees in the film Major League, so like, he is doing this anonymously. And also, I do think that this is an event that the world needs to know about. I think it's extremely funny that the tour guide does do this, because as lots of people pointed out, like, it's kind of the least that the Vietnamese people could do. Like, it is insensitive to the vets, but, like, the Vietnam War was insensitive to people living in Vietnam, so it kind of is a wash. And lots of people are not that happy about the fact that they were touring Vietnam to begin with. Like, Aloof Girlfriend said, "The concept of going on a holiday to a place where you once fought in a war is so wild." Tracy said, "Now, why would your dad have the audacity to go back to the country of the people he slaughtered and then yell at them for doing their job?" Now, this, of course, is making some assumptions about what Clu's dad did in Vietnam, but the point is understandable. And some people, I think, took it a little too seriously, like By Any Means Necessary, who said, "Your dad should have been on his knees begging for forgiveness." The reason I say he's taking this too seriously is because I think that if the tour guide was, like, in a place where he was looking for that from the vets who are on a tour, I don't think that he'd be doing dumb bits and trying to scare them by jumping out of a hole. Like, this guy does this to all the tours, you have to imagine, so clearly he has a sense of humor about all these things. And apparently he's not the only person who does this. Visitors can pop out of these holes. Like, Megan posted a photo of her father who's Vietnamese popping out of one. And if you Google it, you can find lots of people doing it, like this guy. And I think Bearded Genius on Threads actually sums up why this has so much staying power, because this was tweeted over a decade ago. He said, "It's the 10-year anniversary of this tweet. I've honestly never got over it. It's the look on his face while being told off. All for a joke that didn't go quite as planned. We've all been there." Because yeah, I think that that's the thing that's so fascinating about this tweet, is that we identify with the tour guide. Which makes sense in the abstract, but Clu Haywood was tweeting this out to an American audience, and you really wouldn't be surprised if Americans refused to identify with the non-American in the story. But I feel like almost everyone who sees this tweet is like, alright, come on, Clu Haywood's dad, like, let's not be so ridiculous. It's a funny bit, it's the least he could do. And understandably, given the fact that he tweeted this, Clu Haywood seems to have a good sense of humor about all this. Like, when Very responded, "It's amazing we ever won that war," he responded to them, "I have some terrible news for you." And this year, when Park responded with a gif from Da 5 Bloods with "Your dad 10 minutes later," he said, "Underrated movie." That's not an example of him being a good sport. I just wanted to echo the fact that Da 5 Bloods is an underrated movie. It was Spike Lee doing a war epic, and just because it came out during the pandemic and it was only released on Netflix, not that many people saw it. And if you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it. It's a great movie. And actually, it explores the idea of Vietnam vets wanting to go back to Vietnam. It's a great movie. I'm really mad that not that many people saw it. Moving on. There have been some fun quote tweets of this as well. Like, Economist posted 4 photos of, I guess, their dog popping out of a hole in the ground. On Threads, Daily Humor for You posted it with, "If that's how your dad's gonna be, so be it." And the menswear guy, who is of Vietnamese descent, said, "Me appearing in your comments." I talk a lot about the power of Twitter, and one of the powers of Twitter is that it can turn a funny anecdote from a vacation into a post that people are talking about 10 years later. I'm sure that Clu Haywood's dad has a very complicated relationship with Vietnam, and I'm not gonna really tell him how he should react to any of this. I think he probably shouldn't be taking a vacation to Vietnam, but that's his decision. But what I can say is that I, and I think everyone else on Twitter, doesn't have a complicated relationship with this post. It's wonderful. Follow me for new tweet every day, and if you like the show, please go to patreon.com/museum of Twitter. We get a weekly bonus episode called the Museum of Not Twitter, and you get access to my Discord where we can devote when I cover on Subscriber Sundays.